Shalom everyone to Living with the Times. Purim is coming closer and closer, and we're told that we have 4 major mitzvot on Purim. To hear the Megillah, actually twice in the night and the day, to give matanot le'avyonim, gifts to the poor, mishloch manot, ish l're'ehu, gifts of food to our friends and neighbors, and to have a feast during the day of Purim. But along with this, we're told another seemingly mysterious, even strange mitzvah of drinking on Purim ad lo yada, until we don't know the difference. And then it continues, ad lo yada bein Baruch Mordechai ve'arur Haman. We don't know the difference between blessed is Mordechai and cursed is Haman. So I said it's somewhat of a strange mitzvah, seemingly, because the whole year we try as best as we can to differentiate between good and evil, between pure and impure, permitted and forbidden, holy and profane. And here on Purim, we're told to drink on Purim ad lo yada, till we get beyond knowing. And also, even though we do drink during the year, but we're never encouraged to get drunk, and certainly to the point that we don't know anything. And a lot of people misunderstand this mitzvah and think the only way to fulfill it is to get so drunk that you pass out. That is absolutely not what the sages had in mind. And we're told, halachically, that a person can drink just a little bit more than they usually do, and they could even fall asleep for a little cat nap. And because when you're sleeping, you don't know anything. And so you could fulfill the mitzvah in that way. But let's try to understand this deeper. What were the sages getting to? And so there's an expression, the greatest knowing is not to know. That in itself is a paradoxical statement. So what is meant by that? That the greatest knowledge on one level is to know how much I don't know. We all know what it feels like to be in the presence of a know-it-all. That true wisdom and understanding and knowledge entails a certain amount of humbleness to understand we're human beings and there's only so much we can understand about God, about life. And so with that kind of humbleness, then the greatest knowledge is to know I don't know. But there are really higher levels of understanding this. When we look at the way that God created the world, we have an expression that God created the world yesh mi'ayin, something from nothing. Human beings create, but we create something from something. To create something from nothing is also a very paradoxical statement that only God can accomplish. But the nothing here that we're talking about when we say yesh mi'ayin, this is connected to the Hebrew term for infinity, that God is referred to as the Ein Sof, without end. But this word Ein also can be pronounced ayin, yesh mi'ayin, the same word, just The vowels are different. And we're told that when we say that God created something from nothing, this nothing is actually the birthing place or the womb of everything. So when we say the greatest knowledge is to know that I don't know, what it means is that there's a type of knowledge, even wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, Chabad, Chachma, Bin, and Dat, that transcends the intellect, transcends the normative thought process. And when we can transcend this, which we can at times in prayer, in study, contemplation, meditation, where we transcend the intellect, and then we become privy to a type of wisdom that is above the intellect. This is the place of what's called Ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration, of prophecy or prophetic experience. And so on Purim, the joy is so great. The salvation was so tremendous because the danger was for real. Haman meant to destroy all the Jews. And we were in tremendous danger. And God turned everything around with obviously the help of Mordechai and Esther. They were the vehicles through which God turned the story from potential destruction to salvation. And we have this tremendous holiday called Purim. And so this idea of drinking on Purim till we don't know the difference between blessed is Mordechai and cursed is Haman. Actually, the simple understanding is that I don't know what I should be more joyous about. Should I be more joyous that Mordechai was elevated to be the second in charge and we had this great salvation? Or should I be happier that our arch enemy was hung on the very gallows that he wanted to hang Mordechai? What makes me more happy? That's on a simple level. But on a deeper level, we're talking about understanding that the oneness of God includes both good and the potential of evil. No evil comes out from God, but God does allow evil to exist in order to give us free will, that we can earn our way. We can earn being in the image of God. And so here on Purim, we're confronted with the epitome of evil and the great goodness and righteousness of Mordechai and Esther and the Jewish people. But we have to know that ultimately it's all coming from God. And that takes a very, very high level of consciousness. Because when confronted with evil, sometimes God is so hidden. And so we have a great gematria, that the gematria of Baruch Mordechai, blessed is Mordechai, equals exactly cursed is Haman, Arur Haman, 502. And there's one other term that has the same gematria, and that is emunah pshuta, simple faith. Simple faith is what has gotten, and it's not simple. We're not talking about a simpleton. Simple faith means total faith, complete faith in God in Jewish destiny. And sometimes we have to really reach beyond the dualities of this world to see the oneness behind it. And that is the type of knowing on Purim that we can get to, but it's what we call not knowing. Ad de lo yada. Another way we could say this is ad de lo yada. Until that aspect of know knows. And the know here is N-O. So in other words, that part of us that has negativity, is pessimistic, is not full of faith, is not full of self-esteem. De lo yada, that this aspect of lo has to come to know that ultimately everything comes from God. Everything is ultimately for the good. Even though we can't always see it in the moment, it's very, very hidden, just like God's name is hidden in the Megillah. But ultimately, we will see the oneness of God and that everything is for the good. And we could apply this also to the current situation in Israel, that we know that we're going through a traumatic time, a very difficult time, but there are many, many good things coming from this. And we wouldn't have asked for this just so those good things can happen. But before October 7th, there was tremendous disunity in Israel, and it has brought us together, and there's definitely a new ruach, a new spirit that's alive in the land, and very good things are going to come from this, and they're already coming. But Bezrat Hashem, with God's help, we will, like at the time of Purim, we have to defeat the Hamans of our day, and we will be able to see in a place higher than the intellect that all will be good and all is coming from Hashem.